We're live. Good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I am your host, Jared. You can find me on Blue Sky. So, should you decide that you cannot get enough of me when I'm literally live 90 minutes a day and interacting with an audience, that you must reach out to me on social media, uh, you can go here. I can't imagine. Maybe I'm unapproachable, but a premise I'm getting real tired of is people starting a video with people keep asking me. And there's two sides to this. There's the one side where it's like, I call bullshit. I host a daily show with an interactive chat and people don't ask. So you mean to tell me you with a similarly sized platform are just that much more approachable? That's what that is. I'm just kidding. As we do every day, and didn't yesterday for the first time, by the way. We typically start our show with war. Morning, Debs, Zeke, with a little war by Edwin Starr. I think it's obviously got to be top of the mind, top of the hour, top of the day. As of yesterday, Thursday, April 17th, 2025, Kilmar Garcia was alive. Met with Maryland Senator Van Hollen. There's video, audio. There's a link in the chat. Uh, I don't know about you all. I slept peacefully for about the first time in a while last night, hearing and seeing that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive. And then also, I think, again, he's not a gang member. That's misinformation, Carly. Goodbye. Just know, if you think you're gonna be a bigot in my comment section of any kind, you're not gonna last long. I promise you that. Mm. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Then obviously, I think if you're gonna talk about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and the fact that he's alive and that giving you respite. I think you also got to say what made my butthole clench a little bit was Luigi Mangione getting indicted on federal charges um, for unaliving the United Healthcare CEO. Um, so yeah, good morning everybody. Happy Friday. Obviously have a fantastic weekend. Um, Again, we'll start our show and say, hey, if you're not already, first time I heard that song was in Rush Hour, at least from what I remember. Oh, yeah. Not already. Head over to Reddit. There are two subreddits. There's also a new subreddit, by the way, that I think this particular, yeah, and I think like I said, if we're gonna feel things and we're gonna talk about things and we're gonna say, hey, I'd been kind of feeling uneasy with the deportation. Well, not even the deportation. It's rendition, by the way. Um, the rendition of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, uh, it made me weary, right? That anyone dare speak out against this administration be targeted. And again, I just want to point out how if what is happening with this regime is your flavor, like this is what you want to see, the rich get rich, the poor get poorer, knowing that literally if you weren't standing inside the rotunda during the inauguration, these tax cuts ain't for you. We're on the same team. I don't know. This is a tough sell. I think it's crazy to me to think that the best we could manage was to get an elected official to go make sure he's alive. Instead of we moved heaven and earth to get our guy back. You know what I mean? I can't. Again, the cruelty is the point. The whole reason this is happening is to strike fear in people. Donald Trump, think about this. What Donald Trump has really done since he's been in office. He's eliminated all of the watchdogs, the people that would point out shit is fucked. Hey, there's this disease. We gotta get shots. They like took that guy down. They don't want that message. Donald can't stand bad news, right? There's a reason he downplayed COVID-19. There's a reason you see little to no mention of norovirus or the bird flu or all this shit that's like going around and people are ill. I mean to jump subjects, think about weather reporting, the NOAA, right? Think about this regime eliminating early warning for storms, denying FEMA benefits to Democratic states. And it's like, yeah, for now. One of the things that I've said this many times, this regime spells the end for the Republican Party in my eyes. The way I think about it is there's gotta be way too many people right now that are like, I would never vote for a Republican ever again. They have no fucking plan. They are not going to get in office and do what they promised to do unless, big unless, because there's a lot of people just woke up right now like, what are you talking about? Project 2025. Hold on. Unless it harms Americans. And then he has no problem literally doing the deed, right? And that's exactly what Project 2025 is Peter Thiel, for the record, the CEO of Palantir, who needs the same treatment as Elon Musk, funded, meaning he paid JD Vance to create Project 2025 under the Heritage Foundation logo. Oh, you're talking about Venezuela's plan. Yeah. Yeah. And I want to reiterate, like, again, building the American Socialist Party. We need, when I was thinking about, like, you need a minimum of 54 people to challenge Blue Dog Coalition members and get those people out of the Democratic Party and expose them as, like, undercover Republicans, right? So one of the things that the American Socialist Party is going to want to look to do is to look in those places where those 54 Blue Dog Coalition Democrats are and move to replace them with either an American Socialist Party member or the most qualified Democrat, right? What do you think about them dressing Mr. Garcia like he's not being held captive, right? Donald Trump can't be made to look bad. He can't be made to look like the bad guy here, right? That's the thing. I think it feel that's one of the things I was thinking about this morning before I went live was like, are all these people being extorted the fuck out of? Like, are all these people being paid the fuck off? Like, what is happening here? Like, instead they just vote and complicit. They approve his cabinet because they're afraid of the political blowback, right? And it just so happens that Donald Trump knows enough about the legal system. But people are given one of the things that has got to stop. People got to stop if making content addressing fucking Trumpers. Like, you have to understand. A few months before the 2024 US election, a social media firm did an audit of Donald Trump and Elon Musk's social media following and found that over 90% of it was fake. So keep this in mind. All these Republicans, all these GOPers, all these fucking traitors are far less fucking popular in real life than even is true. Like, they think they are more popular than they actually are, and it's not by a little bit. It's by, like, the majority of the people that follow the kinds of people that are trying to harm you aren't even real. Their following's fake. And so think about that when you got people making their content and it's like attacking Trumpers, and it has ever been about attacking Trumpers. If you knew that the two people at the top of that heap literally are not nearly as popular as they think you are, why would you make a single piece of content targeting the people voting for them? Knowing the level of interference into this election. You survived like 3 mega lives in a row. I'm exhausted. Why? Like, I wouldn't even waste my time there. Yeah. Walter Masterson. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to point that out. Like, when you make content and you address Trumpers, and it's like they don't exist. They're mostly bots. Like, if you go, like, I'll put it like this: I'm a nobody. I mean, there's 60 fucking people in here, but like, let's be serious. Like, I'm a fucking nobody, right? Go into a Trumpers live. Does it maintain 60 fucking people in here? No, it does not. Their shit fluctuates like crazy because people drop in, they say something stupid, and they fucking bounce, right? One of the things that I know, like, it sounds stupid, but I did study data analytics. You're not looking at high number of viewers. You're looking at consistent number of viewers over time. And the thing that I notice with MAGA Trumpers in their lives on TikTok, you go there and it's their numbers are spiking. it's constantly fluctuating. Why? Is because like people either aren't being entertained, they're not getting anything out of it, or they got their thing and they're done, right? They heard what they needed to hear and they're out, right? So one of the things I kind of pride myself on is we stay pretty level, we'll grow, right? But like I said, anytime I notice how many people is even paying attention to me, hey, just remember, you've got to control what you can control, right? Make sure you get 8 hours of sleep a night. You probably need a fucking nap. That's gonna be me today. It's also gonna be my wife today. I can guarantee that. Again, 4 a.m. club. If you know, you know. What up, Fitz? Fitz was a corpsman in the Navy. Thank you for your service, brother. Sorry about my. I trimmed my beard today. I know I look fucking debonair, but yeah, thank you for your service, brother. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I want to make sure I finish that thought. Like if you're thinking I hope that you understand that they are trying to um inspire inspire violence in you. They want to inspire a violent response to all the things that they're doing. So don't be surprised if it gets more shocking today or tomorrow or the next day. Again, I want you to, and we haven't really talked about this. I have not said a fucking word up to any of these protests because I literally was like, I don't anticipate violence. Was I wrong? No. Again, I've asked before, let me be your fucking barometer. Um, I'm not necessarily scared, but I'm a little more like, could the protests on the 19th, I think because the messaging was kind of blurry. If you go to Protest Finder USA or if you go to R50501 on Reddit, one of the things that I noticed, again, politics, yes, pretty goddamn consistently. Um, One of the things that I noticed, you caught me off guard. Look, demure. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a socialist. I'm the founder of the American Socialist Party. Hmm. I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Also pro equality and pro union. In fact, I want to point out in terms of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I want to point out that now two heads of unions have spoken out and said, bring that young man back home. And I just want to point out how awesome the power of unions are. Look at the heads of unions standing up for their members and saying, bring them back home. Notice it took, it's taking elected officials from their home state flying down there, okay, to El Salvador to see an American citizen in a baseball hat and a button-down polo, and you're just like, this is supposed to be a vacation. Yeah, if they can meet with them, they can bring them home. It's a political stunt. Long story short, Donald Trump did this. The Trump administration did this, which again, I want to make sure that we stop calling this administration because this, if anything, this is not administration. This is a regime. They need to call it what it is. I want to make sure that we say and we point out again the reason that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is still in a prison in El Salvador in CCOT, which I want to also make sure stop calling it a fucking prison. It's not a prison. It is a former prison, an ex prison, a closed down prison. He is being held at CCOT because the Trump regime is paying for that. And oh, by the way, again, follow the motherfucking money. The whole reason this is going down like it is because Eric Prince is getting paid like $10,000 per person that they fly down to El Salvador. So if you ever wondered who's fucking doing it, right? Exactly who the fuck is doing this? Palantir, Eric Prince, Peter Thiel. I can't stop thinking about, side note, I can't stop thinking about fucking Elon or Donald Trump fucking over Mark Zuckerberg. It it like it's a pervasive thought. Like that motherfucker flew to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring and gave Donald Trump money in the darkest hour. Remember that shit? It was like coming. It was like some weird shit going on. All of a sudden, Zuck's in fucking Mar-a-Lago, gives him some money, gives Don some nickels, right? And then what happened, dude? He didn't even make it fucking 4 or 5 months into office. And Donald Trump's goat fucking Mark Zuckerberg, he might have to sell off IG. Bob so eloquently said he is president. And it's like, what? What is that even? Yes, I have found it funny. There's been a theme of people making videos lately pointing out so eloquently. I appreciate y'all doing the home hard work so much that Auschwitz is not in fucking Nazi Germany. No shit, Sherlock. Some of us knew that in the goddamn middle school when we were first introduced to these topics. Oh, really? Well, he's really flexing his power. Did you know that Barack Obama deported like 3 million people and nobody said a fucking word? And Donnie Boy's got like 8 whole people deported. The rest are like completely innocent. And ultimately, he's going to have to bring them back too. So he is not only never touching fucking Barack Obama's 3 million legitimate deportees. I might want to point that out. Uh, he also can't even get that right. Like, I want to point that out. Like, he's fucking it all up. He fucked up deportation so bad it's not even deportation. It's rendition. It's not even deportation. He fucked that up. That's powerful to Bob. I just want to point that out. Bob says that's the president flexing his power. Okay? I just want you to know that uh, be, being a being hold on, let me help you. You seem to be lost. Why did it snooze that? Anyway, Bob, let me show you the door. Okay. But yeah, I think it's funny to watch like people like around my age or mostly younger and they're making these videos where they're all glossed up and look like they've been crying and they're looking at camera and like I just wanted you all to know Auschwitz is in Poland and you're just like was that today? Was that right? And did that just happen for you? Is that why you're fucking pouting? Like and again, a lot of people make like educational content. That's a lot of the people I follow. I'm not even talking about the educational content creators I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people having harsh realizations that uh no and this is about the only time you ever hear me say this, not all concentration camps mm, were in Germany. Um Come on, when you start a sentence, not all concentration camps, shit's about to get rough. Okay. As I've said before, one of the things that I try to point out anytime I realize I've got any amount of people watching me is you need to you need to get 8 hours of sleep a night. You probably need to take a nap. You need to hydrate. You need to eat right. You need to exercise. My Spanish language enthusiast said some were in Poland. Happy Friday, Crystal. So yeah, I think the two top stories here in the last like 24-ish hours, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive. Luigi Mangione caught federal charges for his unaliving of the United Healthcare CEO. Uh, Most people have no idea about pew pew laws. And if I had to guess without even doing much research, okay, without even doing much research, I think people who make content about a tragedy or topic to entertain, not inform, are the worst. Yeah, like people that are, again, like I said, having harsh realizations, like shit they never bothered to learn, and now that they're like, I thought if it could only be a concentration camp, it was in the borders of your own country, and it's like, no, during, the Holocaust, there were concentration camps in Poland, which is, again, not Germany. Okay. Somebody asked thoughts on what he'll do on Sunday. He will shout into the ether, and their response will be deafening silence. Um, I'm almost confident. Almost. Yeah, one of the things that you have to do if you're thinking about martial law, because I know a lot of people are thinking about martial law, is you have to listen to Knitting Cult Lady, who was a captain in the army in logistics, and she's told you time and time again. If they were actually going to declare martial law and act on that, they would have already had be in position. You would have already moved the pieces in place. You'd already have road checkpoints set up. People would have noticed. They'd be talking about it. Starting at the border is lazy. That's lazy. It's lazy. Started at the border and they're going to expand and it's going to be a nationwide. And you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you have absolutely no clue how crazy of a situation it would be to declare martial law in the United States. It is logistically fucking impossible. It is a massive country with people spread out all over. You ain't going to do it. It ain't going to work. Not to mention the fact the sheer volume of pew pew owners in the United States means you can't adequately do martial law. So all the again, I just want to point let's point this out by the fucking way. Should he declare martial law? Should the military um under poor leadership uh move into position to do this? That will be the worst military decision in history would be to move into position to having martial law declared with you have no pieces in place and then you go ahead and fucking do it. That is the worst fucking move the military could make. What they need to do is sit pat and be like, mm-mm, not on Easter fucking Sunday. Nope. And again, that's been kind of the whole thing is like, you are not declaring martial law in the United States on Easter Sunday. Because when Donald Trump was elected on January 20th, he put out an executive order. CC, I'm surprised you don't know this. He told Pete Hegseth and I think Pam Bondi to produce a report in 90 days on the southern border of the United States as to whether or not Donald Trump could constitute declaring a national emergency and declare martial law. I want to point out he has absolutely, and here we are, the day before what I anticipate being the largest protest in U.S. history. The day before the largest protest in U.S. history, that is right, tomorrow, January 19th, your state capital, around noon time. It's being called a day of action. Okay. Let's remember on Easter, Jesus was woke and brown. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Of all days, Sheetler's birthday is just a dude. Okay, so yeah, on Sunday, Donald Trump is expected to receive a report, and ultimately, the kind of rumor is that he'll declare martial law. I just want you to know the rumor I heard in response to that is going to be fucking crickets. Meaning like no one is prepared for that. Don? You do not have a reason to do that. And again, unless A10s start attacking protests and just laying waste to protesters, there's absolutely nothing that could happen in the next 24 to 48 hours, in my opinion, in the United States that would constitute uh, declaring martial law. Yeah, there's nothing that's happened as of right fucking now. There is not a single action that has taken place since he was elected that justifies martial law. And I don't think that tomorrow's day of action, tomorrow's protest, is going to produce that. Again, nobody that I've talked to, nobody that has been in any of the content that I've created, where literally every morning for an hour and a half I sit here and talk about the news, and I have a fucking Marine Corps infantry hat on. And you'd think if somebody was planning to do something fucking stupid, they'd have come in this chat and fucking said something. You know what I mean? Like, if there's something gonna happen a fucking tomorrow, I my hands ain't on it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Far as I know, tomorrow is a goddamn food drive. We're literally trying to fill a food kitchen, a food pantry, where we last protested. Like, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, Donald Trump is just trying to make sure he fulfills uh, Putin's orders that he gets through Elon. Dennis said he was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. Donald Trump. Oh, I posted on Blue Sky. I learned a new word, everybody. Um Cockwomble. Okay. And if this doesn't sound like Donald Trump, I don't know what is. Cockwomble. A person, usually male, prone to making outrageously stupid statements and or inappropriate behavior while generally having a very high opinion of their own wisdom and importance. Donald Trump is a fucking cockwomble if I've ever heard of one in my life. And that is Scottish. So it's not like I just like put cock plus another word together for those of you following along and being a motherfucking hater. Um, but yeah, we did define that cockwomble. Hmm. I don't know. Did y'all see that story I posted? Trump's top pastor. Trump's top pastor visited Ukraine and then urged Donald Trump to send F-35s, tanks, anti-drone weapons, and said, "For real, people are dying here." So part of it is the you see how they're kind of not they're not going in the same direction all the time. You see the chaos, right? Where Donald Trump's like pro Russia, right? He's he wants them to take Ukraine, right? But his chief pastor goes to Ukraine and is like, "No, we need to help the Ukraine. Like the people are really dying here, right?" What's hilarious is that your screen name is Cognitive Dissonance and you post that shit. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Semper Fi, buddy. So I just want to point out Donald Trump's like fuck Ukraine, but his pastor goes there and is like, "Oh my god, help them." Do you see how it's like the chaos is by design, right? Are you mad? I'm confused. Uh okay, so those are two separate thoughts separated by no punctuation. So we're just going to take them, we're going to break them down and go piece by piece. Am I mad? At what would be the reply? At what? And then I'm in response to you saying I'm confused, I would say about what? Do you see? Okay. So again, the comment section is mm, ugh. You know what I've learned to not say anything, right? Like it's mm, 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 mm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. You know what they say, keep your friends close and well, I just had to block Ice on Twitter. So I mean TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is fucking wild. 131 people, by the way. There's 150 people watching me right now. Hey, remember this, I advocate for a healthy lifestyle. The primary thing you are going to hear out of me whenever I notice that a bunch of people are watching me is listen. I know there's a lot of shit going on in the world, and life is like being on a fucking roller coaster with your eyes closed, so you are not at all anticipating the direction, the severity, the rotation at all. You're just on the ride, and it's like a wooden fucking roller coaster, and it's rickety as fuck. Yeah, and it's like going breakneck fast, and you know this shit is fucked, and you know at some point we are all gonna crash. Holy shit! And if that's not what you're living through, I'm sorry that you're living blissfully unaware. One of the things I saw most recently that made it just a lot easier is somebody said they went to like a big city, and let's just say they went to New York City, right? they uh, they went to New York City and they were just around a bunch of people in general, and they came away from it and said, "There's so many people that are just completely unaware, completely ignorant to what is going on in the world." And how awesome that must be to just not know any of this shit. And I'd only argue that I'm glad I do. It helps me understand who I can fuck with and who I can't. Politics is the best barometer ever. Once I find out how you feel about shit, oh, I will never share a unique thought with you ever the fuck again. If this is at all like palatable to you, right? If this doesn't put a bad taste in your mouth all the fucking time, you're just like, God damn, like come on. If that's not how it is for you, that's a fucking problem. Okay? It's just true. I've hold on. You ever get like a comment and you're like, hold the phone, stop the show. I gotta go read this shit. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I just gotta read it. CS letting another man say they can win. What is CS? They cannot tell you. Only thing they know is where they. I don't, just some of the. It's like, I just want to say it's like a bot. It's not like a person. Computer science. Letting another. Yeah, that's what I was. Brian, that's what I was like, what? What the fuck is CS? Anyway, I hope that you all have a great day and a great weekend. And again, comment section. Thank you. Hey, that makes it. That opened my eyes. Grown men in comment section letting another man tell them what to think and when. I don't know, man. All I do is advocate for a healthy lifestyle. Tell people to get 8 hours of sleep a night. Try to take a nap. You probably need a nap. That's why you're such a bitch. And then you need to drink water because you're also probably dehydrated. Okay. You need to eat right. You know, you probably just need a Snickers. And then hey, you should exercise. You know what? You know what, Ringo? What we're not going to do is sit around and make generalizations. That's not helpful. Let me help you. Find the exit door and remove yourself. One of the things we don't need to be doing is sitting around dividing ourselves up. There's no sense in fucking doing that. You get what I'm saying? Jelly Toast said, I have an important question. If you did, you'd have led with that, but here we go. If you had an important question, you would have led with it. Just spit it out. Give him a knife. Like, Trump does that enough. Does what enough? What does he do enough of? Is it, hey, who is that? Sergeant First Class Brown. Hey, the other day I had another person from Second Marines fucking come in my chat and they're like, "Oh, another torchbearer." And I hadn't heard that shit before. I never have been like particularly proud of my service really until like March 14th. And then I did go buy this hat at the fucking exchange at the army base around the corner from my house. And I was just shocked they had a fucking second Mardiv hat, right? And he called me a torchbearer, and I had never heard anyone call anyone a fucking torchbearer. And so I thought they were fucking making fun of me, and I was like, "You're gonna have to explain that, otherwise I feel and look stupid, on a live podcast." And they were like, "Your fucking hat. I'm from 2-2," and I was like, "Oh shit, my bad, dog. We called ourselves warlords, but you could call us torchbearers. Like that's fine." Let's see. Rest said, "Hey Marines, 17 Mew here, 26 Mew here." USS Baton. Coolest shit ever. It's like a small boat, smaller than I mean, it's still a big boat, smaller than an aircraft carrier, and it had a elevator deck on it. And so what it could do is it could put all the planes below deck. It was fucking rad. And it had a well, so you could take amphibious vehicle and put it, in the boat. It's fucking cool. Boats on boats on boats. Army here, still brother in arms. Y'all got to get a hold of yourselves. Army's all fucked up. Tulsi Gabbard and the Flins. Jesus Christ. What are they smoking, y'all? Air Force Police Security Veteran 76 to 80. Hey, thank you for your service. USS Duluth, 23rd Mew. Holy shit. Look at all of them. Don't let them touch our boats. Thank you for your service. I can't place you. You shouldn't. I look familiar. I am the host of a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics called Justice's Waiting Room. That's just where you are right now. And we've been going every day for about 6 months. Are we about 6 months straight? About 5 months straight, right? 5 months? I think we started Army Now Deployed in the Middle East. Yay. Always comes at you for the fast like the roller coaster, yeah. Middle East tour. Me? No. I was aboard the USS Baton for 8 fucking days. I think I have the least amount of. I might have the least amount of days of deployment of anyone you've ever met in your life. 8. And people are like, wait a second. Somebody said, guess who I voted for? And it's like, what? I don't. Anyway, back to the news. So this is another headline that I think is going to cross your desk at some point. And you're going to be like, why didn't we talk about that on the news show? It beat you by a day. Yeah, I got 8 days. You were with Academy. I have no idea. I got asked to play football while I was on active duty, and I got hurt dicking around with my unit. I still got to play football for second Mardiv after I got hurt, but long story short, and again, not to get sad, I'm just telling the fucking story. Old name was Blackwater. Oh, so maybe Seps Taps 2007. That was the only time I was ever around Blackwater. But yeah, China has the world's first operational thorium nuclear reactor. So I think at some point it's going to cross your desk. This is a news show, and you're going to be like, how come we didn't talk about that? Well, we did. You know what I think? I think I don't know enough. Jesus fucking Christ. There's an E. coli outbreak hit 15 states. When did this happen? Nope. Jesus. It's like they're purposely trying to kill us. Ain't Blackwater now triple canopy? I have no fucking clue. I didn't fuck with those OGAs. You know why I don't never fuck with those OGAs? I'll tell you. You want me to tell you? Uh, those recruiters came to 2-2 to recruit the warlords because they had been on 5 straight deployments to Iraq. I ain't talking about me. Good to go. Like, those were the people I met when I first got to the service. I was boot to them, right? Blackwater and Triple Canopy came to recruit them, and they got run out of the room. Like, get the fuck out of here. We don't want nothing to do with you cucks. Like, we don't want nothing to do with none of y'all. There ain't no amount of money you could fuck pay me to be work for OGA. And I don't have an opinion. I didn't work. I wasn't trying to operate as a member of the U.S. military on foreign soil and having to work with fucking Blackwater or Triple Canopy, right? So I just asked the guys that did, hey, why the fuck did y'all yell and scream at them and push them out of the room and say you're not recruiting fucking guys from 2-2? And one of my corporals told me, like, one of the recruiting videos that they'll show you is them shooting a 50 cal out the back of a fucking Tahoe while they drive around in the desert. Like, if that's the kind of shit that you want to get yourself into, being completely fucking irresponsible, right? That's the kind of shit that you do with like OGAs. But if you're trying to fucking survive this shit, but yeah, anyway, I posted a link and showed there was an E. coli outbreak hit 15 states and no notifications to the public. Um, isn't it awesome? And you did see there was another American citizen like detained wrongfully in Florida. Kenneth Scarborough said Semper Fi. Good morning, Semper Fi. Jesus Christ. Here's Ukrainian envoy talking about Rick was in 3-2. Yeah, the good news is that person was released. Okay. So Zelensky accuses Trump's envoy of spreading Russian narratives. No shit. Right? Oh, and if you haven't heard me say it, so that you have seen a white cis male say it, Slava Ukraine. As much as it feels like the United States is pro-Russia right now, I can assure you the vast majority of people that live in the United States and are American citizens are not pro-Russia. Okay? And then also Free Palestine. And again, I'd say the majority of people that live in the United States are not pro-Israel. And understand that if you are pro-Russia or pro-Israel, it's because you were sold those things. Not because that's how you feel and believe. It's what you were sold. Okay? Mark Miller said we know the US people are not pro any of them. Well, that's not entirely true. The vast majority of people are not pro Russia or pro Israel. I want to remind you one of the things that will stick out to me for a very long time is Chuck Schumer recently being quoted as saying that it's his job to keep the left pro Israel. And I also want to point out that, as much as I talk shit about the GOP and the Republican Party, every elected official in the GOP and GOP/Republican Party took money from Russia. Okay? Money changed hands. Okay? Now, on the same flip of that coin, 100 elected Democrats take money from AIPAC, Israel. Okay? And also, within the Democratic Party, there is what is called the Blue Dog Coalition, consisting of 54 elected Democrats that vote extremely conservatively. So, for the record, for people out there that are looking to place me, and they're like, he's a fucking lib or a dem or a fuck what, dude, I could not be farther from being a fucking Democrat or a Republican. There is not a single thread. There's not a single thread of what the Democrats or Republicans are doing that I'm with. I'm not with this pussy shit. That's one of the first fucking thing about this entire fucking situation I am not about is that scared shit. If you're scared, go to fucking church and get out of politics. I give a flying fuck. And if you're sitting here listening to me, understand that the purpose of this show is not to prop myself up and make myself into a political candidate. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. This ain't what this is for. But this is to inspire the future generations, people that have served. Get a degree in fucking political science and listen to what I'm fucking saying. There are syndicalist, socialist political parties all over the world winning elections, holding political office, influencing law. Progressive policies win fucking elections. The single most significant data point in recent American political history is that DSA members win 70% of the elections they enter. Remember, this is a 50-50 country. We're deeply divided. But there are things that are happening in the United States every single day that makes me know we have more in common than you could ever hope. Like, I'm telling you, everyone can agree that the cost of healthcare is fucking insane. I have a coworker, okay, for example, that is married with 3 kids and pays 75% of his base pay just for insurance. Because we only get paid hourly, a couple $1,000s a month. The bulk of my incomes comes from my awesome ability to fucking read and speak. Okay. But for somebody paying like $1,500 a month for insurance plus a mortgage, you can understand how that's not sustainable. It's not fucking sustainable. Yep. And that's what I realized when this fascist fucking authoritarian dictatorship took power. All I could think was, what is the opposite of that? What is the fucking cold opposite of fascism, of authoritarianism? And the cold opposite is socialism. This regime in power right now, that's anti DEI, I'm pro DEI. You know why? Because I'm a fucking veteran. I'm disabled. I am part of your diversity, equity, and inclusion. And also, I'm aware that 54% of the people that benefit from DEI are white women, and I'm a fucking white person. See how easy that was? Now, why can't you do that? Right? Even though it's horrible that I said it out loud, DEI largely impacts white women. And that even like benefits me. I'm a white person. Why can't you do that? See how that is? How hard was it for you to accept DEI knowing that it largely impacts veterans and white women as a white person? So why do you dislike DEI? It doesn't track. It doesn't make any sense. It's cuz Donnie fucking told you that? Donnie tried to sell you fucking steaks. That business failed. Steaks by subscription. That shit failed. I think that's all you needed to know, by the way. The dude tried to sell steaks by subscription and failed. You bankrupted fucking casinos. He trashed the Taj Mahal. Yeah, why not just say you're a person instead of labeling yourself? Exactly. But I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'm a socialist. I'm the founder of the American Socialist Party. I'm pro equality. I'm pro union. I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. I want to see the removal of this two-tier justice system that we live in, which clearly does not impact the rich but impacts the poor. I want to make sure everybody knows this is not a left to right thing. This is a rich to poor thing. The rich are in power now, and they're making it known. Yeah, he bankrupted multiple casinos. Oh, and also I understand what socialism is, like the social ownership of business, the overthrowing the means of production, unions, unions. Join a union. Hmm. Pay your dues. So if you're a socialist, why do you choose to live here? Because I'm a fucking homeowner and a veteran and tax-paying and American citizen. What the fuck are you talking about if I'm a socialist? Why do I choose to live here? Do you just say dumb shit on the internet? That's dumb shit on the internet. Let me help you find the door. Why do I choose to live here? Like, I'm not welcome? Because I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing? Is that why? Like, how is your name going to be Chalet and you're telling me to fucking leave? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Hmm. Here's Zelensky saying they have evidence of China supplying Russia with weapons. Yeah, it's like you don't understand what socialism is. Like I'm pro union, I'm pro equality. I want our future political leaders to be the heads of unions because one of the things I learned when I was in the Marine Corps is you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of competence. If you are largely fucking incompetent when things get stressful, that's going to rear its ugly fucking head. If you are largely fucking competent and shit gets fucking stressful, um, you're gonna be all right. Okay. This regime is demonstrating incompetence, um, from the top fucking down. Um, there's absolutely no question of that. Yeah, it's like you mean. So here's the thing about the United States: the United States doesn't even know what it is, right? Americans don't even know what they are. My favorite thing that I see on the internet all day is people saying, "We don't live in a democracy, we live in a democratic republic." And it's like, can you tell me what the difference is? And then they can't actually do that. They can say, "We don't live in a democracy, we live in a democratic republic." And then I can ask, like, "Oh my God, thank you for telling me that. What is the difference?" And they literally melt like a fucking candle. And you're just like, I don't understand. All I did was ask, like, what's the difference between a democracy and a democratic republic? Like, I didn't think that was like hard. And then when I explain, like, socialism is any egalitarian political, economic, or fucking social theory. So it could be. I think that democracy is a failure, mostly because of the justice system's failure to discipline people who regularly break the fucking law, right? I think that our justice system's failing when we allow the president of the United States to make himself fucking immune. How? I think it's crazy that we live in a country that made it so that the president of the United States can't be tried while they're president. And that it's because of a memo, just like we talk about executive orders, presidential orders not being law. What's going on with Signalgate? Right? We need to make sure we keep that fucking top of mind, right? The director of national security, the vice president, what was it? JD Vance, Pete Hegseth, Michael Waltz. Who else was in that Signal chat? Right? Other than the editor in chief of the fucking Atlantic. Um, yeah, right. Uh, Gabby, Whiskey Leaks, yes. Hmm. Which I think is what we should call that. We talked about Turner Garcia today. Al B from YouTube said, "Have we talked about the return of Garcia today?" First story we talked about was how I slept for the first time peacefully in the last few days because I saw that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive. Beaver, one of the things that I don't do is I'm not sharing my live with people that I don't regularly interact with on a daily basis. So I got to know your politics pretty well because then I got to have some expectation that you're going to get on here and not completely embarrass us. So keep showing up and we'll figure that out one day. Mhm. But yeah, I've been hosting this show for like 5 months straight without a co host and I'm not about to start. Good to go. I appreciate you wanting to hop on a platform, right? You see, we had a couple hundred people in here at one point. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine wanting to ride these coattails. Okay. Hmm. Let me help you. Yeah, yeah. National Security Director. So Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, Michael Waltz, J.D. Vance. Uh, I don't know that they were actually battle planning, but I'm pretty sure they were sharing classified information via Signal. And the reason they were doing that is because they were living under the presumption that the messages were going to be deleted. Because it's like one of the things the app does is it doesn't save conversations. Um, and obviously, when you accidentally invite the editor in chief of the fucking Atlantic, and he's sitting in there wondering why the fuck am I sitting in this Signal chat with these people? This is uncanny. And then they just took pictures of it and shared it with the universe. And then all those people in that Signal chat lied and said that they weren't doing anything wrong, and that turned out to be fucking wrong. Would you be a guest at another channel, Jay, especially if there's another lefty veteran? Yeah. I mean, it would obviously depend. I would immediately go and investigate. I want to know all about that person. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get me into a situation where I'm arguing with someone. I'm going to devastate them, right? I'm too smart for that shit. You aren't going to flummox me. That's not going to happen. So it's going to be very difficult. Somebody said, "That's good because join against the time next bro. We need it." Hey, Mark Muller, have a good one. Green hack before. It's kind of weird, right? Picture at the restaurant looks staged. Well, I mean, it was. You know, it's one of the things that I've got in my mind. You know, so I'm able to cope, right? You're doing what you're doing. It works for you. Yeah, yeah. We have regularly like 100 plus people consistently watching the show. We're doing the right thing. We're keeping our head, out of the clouds, right? We're talking about the news as it comes down the pike, right? I don't know if we saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this late yesterday, okay? But Cory Booker's going down there too. I don't know. I can't remember. Big Jim and Mama D said if any of our military fellow vets did what these guys did, they would have been persecuted. Let me put it like this. I'm going to tell a story about while I was on active duty. Okay. So we're going to chill here for a second. Okay. So there's a couple news stories. You can fucking go click on that and read that shit. Let me tell my shit. So I'm going to tell you a story about the dumbest loss of rank ever and why. If any active duty or fucking part timer did what any of them people in that fucking Signal chat did, they'd have lost it all. Okay? And so we're going to talk about how you can lose it all. So, when I was on active duty and we were stateside and we had weekends off, the young Marines that I was like buddies with, they were like, because I had a car, I had a Scion TC with a sunroof, fucking sharp ass little fucking car, man. That thing zipped. Um, but guys want to go ride around. Let's go to Wilmington, Malott, ride around on the beach and shit. And so we'd like go down to Wilmington and anything, get a hotel room. For the record, your boy, because I'm a baller, met two beautiful women that were college kids in Wilmington that just let me stay with them. And so anytime we went down there, I just slept with the girls' house. Okay, uh, didn't date. I wasn't looking to date. I was on active duty. You never know when I'm getting swept away. I just looking for friends, place to stay. Coulda if I wanted to, but that's not the world I live in. But I went down there one time, and they kept telling me, "Hey, if you see an NCO, you didn't see an NCO in Wilmington." Okay, so we go down to Wilmington. I'm staying at the girl's house. A bunch of young Marines got a hotel room at a Days Inn. Okay. Now it just so happened every fucking weekend we partied at them girls' house. So a bunch of other Marines knew where I was, including one of our brand new corporals. It was this absolute black stallion of a human being. 6'5", had been on a couple fucking tours, worked his fucking ass off, married, kids, had his shit on squared up straight. He fucking called me and was like, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm at the girl's house. What are you doing?" And he was like, "I'm coming to see you." And I was like, "Cool." And he didn't come to see me. So that's the fucking story. He went to the fucking Days Inn. And it just so happened, the way shit happens, man, is one of my really good friends, kind of undercover, was a staff sergeant. And he messaged me and was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm at the girl's house." And he was like, "I'm coming to pick you up. We got to go talk to them young boys because I guess they had like an informant in Wilmington and they knew that them young Marines were getting fucking hookers at the Days Inn, and our new corporal is like going to the wrong fucking place, right?" So my staff sergeant swings by, picks me up in his fucking RX-7, and we zip over to this fucking Days Inn. And on my mama, as we roll up, you can see the fucking corporal just absolutely chewing the shit out of like 5 fucking Marines, telling all these girls to get the fuck out of here. Like, did they pay you? Like, you gotta leave. You're gonna get us in trouble and shit. Police are coming because he's being loud. My staff sergeant's like, "Yo, you can't be here and do this." Like, like they weren't doing nothing wrong. Like you didn't come here because you were called here by the police. Like you came here thinking you're a fucking corporal. You're gonna square these young boys away and tell them you don't need to be paying for pussy, right? He lost it all. He went from fucking a brand new E4 all the way to private, and his fucking wife was hot because they had fucking 2 kids. So keep in mind, going from E4 to E1 just for showing up at a hotel where a bunch of your young Marines are doing something they're not supposed to do, and for fucking publicly chastising them, he lost it all. And it wasn't because of our staff sergeant. Our staff sergeant was trying to peel him off that situation and say it's not yours. Let the fucking police handle that. Like, we're out of town, we're off work. You can't be doing that shit, getting involved in shit and being loud and posting people up against the wall and shit, seeing if they got drugs on them and shit. Like, can't be doing that. Driving 100 miles off base and shit. So, you want to talk about like the wildest reason you've ever heard somebody lose all their fucking rank? How about trying to keep their Marines' dick from getting dirty, right? Like trying to say like don't buy hookers and shit. Mm-hmm. Yep. And my staff sergeant was correct, right? Don't feel good. Staff sergeant was correct. Like instead of making this big ass scene, right? Sometimes you just got to get a dirty dick. Like you can't be doing that shit. You're gonna get multiple people arrested. Yep. So for the record, my staff sergeant was a bad motherfucker because he sniffed that out. He literally he told me on the way over there. He told me on the way over there. I asked him where what he was doing this weekend, and I expected that he was gonna say he was gonna go home and be with his wife and his kids, and he said he was going to Wilmington to check on them boys. And Staff Sergeant Sandy told me, it's like as soon as he said that, I was like, nah, 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 nah. Fragator, second lieutenant in Vietnam. Jesus, I don't know what you're talking about. My second lieutenant was a prick. My second lieutenant got is you don't get relieved, right? If you're not a I don't remember how it goes for officers. Their lives aren't the same. We had 2 lieutenants that just could not fucking cut it. It was hilarious. We got a butter bar. I can't even remember his name. University of Tennessee grad, education. Uh, he was a hard charger. The day. So were they? What words? What time is it? Hour and 15 minutes in. I forgot what I was saying. You what the fragging your second lieutenant in Vietnam? I love how people come in and just are like, the people that are like, keep your politics out of my entertainment are like jumping into chat rooms and being like, Donald Trump in 2028. And you're just like, we're not even talking about that. So yeah, I think Zeke, for the record, I think both of them were real ones, right? Keep in mind, like, Wilmington is a ways away from Camp Lejeune. So he knew, my staff sergeant knew that he had a brand new corporal that was gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was really gonna keep pull guys off the top of Hooker. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing that shit. I'm in charge of you. I'm looking out for your fucking well being. You don't need paying for pussy. What the fuck is wrong with you? And for the record, he was right. We went to a Marine Corps ball. I seen all my boys in fucking dress blues, and everybody could get a date. It certainly was not. It's not that. But yeah, my staff sergeant sniffed that out, that he was about to drive an hour and a half out of his way on the way home tonight to go fuck up somebody's weekend. And keep in mind, mostly guys just want to get away to relax. Like, yes, they were doing something they shouldn't have, but I just want to make sure you understand that R&R, not everybody does it the same. But yeah, Cory Booker going to El Salvador. Apparently, it takes a coalition of people to get a U.S. citizen back. Hmm. Remember, there were some doctors that were like pro COVID, that were like anti vaccine. Yeah, they're on trial in Poland. Gosh, all these people losing their jobs. I wonder what kind. Anybody sell what is it called? Workers' comp. Wonder if that's a good. Look at this in the New York Times. Yeah, talking about the time for revolt is now. Civic uprising. Remember, one of the things we talk about on this show is I'm a proponent of nonviolent protests, and that means that ultimately I just want everybody to be safe. This includes if you're gonna fucking leave your house. Do not engage. There are going to be provocateurs. There's going to be people that are trying to get the better of you, and know that you're better than that. Like, there are going to be people that are going to attempt to counter protest. I mean, this is like the nth fucking protest, and there hadn't been a lick of fucking counter protest. And who are you protesting for if you're against peaceful protest? of this regime and its actions. Like, what are you protesting against if you're against people protesting this regime? Right? Like, are you defending Elon Musk? You know, one of the crazy things I keep thinking about it and I'm like, why he hasn't been arrested, I don't understand. Does he have people fucking brainwashed? Elon Musk and Doge stole $8 million straight out of a New York Police Department retirement fund. And you've got fucking cops that lick his boots. And it's like, I don't understand. He fucked y'all's retirement. How and you're just gonna be like, yep, I'm gonna go watch Cars for him. You know what I mean? Never heard a beat in my life. Also, Tesla is fucking screaming right now, as is the stock market in the United States is absolutely fucking crumbling. Um, a lot of good Donald Trump Donald Trump and his tariffs have done. See, a lot of Muslims voted for Trump because of Gaza. They get a rude awakening. Yeah. Yep. See, the problem, CC, is that for too long, people got away with both sidesing, and that's saying that both Democrats and Republicans are equally awful, and neither of them are better. And it's just like how like compare, you know, Donald Trump's time in office with the last any number of Democrats, and it's like, are they even fucking close in terms of like how awful they are? No, like come on. Like if you're waking up every day and you like this shit, the stock market fucking crashing, people getting fucking fired, they're deporting American citizens, detaining American citizens, right? Donald Trump's talking about homegrown fucking criminals and wanting to deport people that were born in the United States to CCOT, which again I want to point out, CCOT is not open. That shit that shit closed in 2019 for violations of human rights. Cruelty is the point. Remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, remember when Donald Trump first got elected, the stock market was screaming, right? And then he started talking about fucking tariffs and he can't be talked off the shit. I understand like a tariff, a broad stroke tariff is like a tax. It's a national tax. It's a measure of transfer of wealth. They're trying to tax us on everything and ship that money to the fucking rich people in the country. And if you don't understand that, look at defense contracts. Look at all these rich motherfuckers and how much money they get from the government. Elon Musk. Zeke said, I was just saying if there are better Democrat options with better policies, they will have my vote first during the primaries. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, by the way, so keep in mind, uh, I will have been here on this platform 6 months on Sunday or Monday, October 21st. Okay, Dirty. Good morning. Okay, it will have been 6 months. I just want you all to know it took me five 4 months 4 months to get to 15,000 followers. Okay, I just hit 16,000 followers a full month later. And like I said, if you go, I don't know if you can see views when you go to my videos on TikTok, but one of the things that I can see is that I made a video on February 21st about how um, Kash Patel used the FBI like private security. And for a month, not a single video I made hit 1,000 views. Think about that. I have 15,000 followers. For a fucking month, none of y'all were watching my shit. Not even 1,500 people, not even 10% of my followers were seeing my content for a month. And then, hey, on March 22nd, so about a month ago ish, I started seeing my videos start to get the normal amount of views. And again, I don't obsess about those things. You can't control them. You can only push the buttons and hope that you get the fucking right. But I noticed that for about 30 days, like my content was being heavily suppressed. Oh! I gotta tell you about this new subreddit I found. It's totally rad. In case you were wondering, post yours color, and I FYP everything I post. Why does it say on a video that has thousands of views, there's 0 comments? They delete. Yeah. No, I don't delete. So look at this shit. It's suppressed news. Okay. And then we know this. You know, if you've been sitting here with me, okay, you know, okay, we know the media's been getting, and you see why a lot of people, um, that's crazy, Bob. Bob said I'm in your live multiple times a week, and I've never seen one of your videos on my FYP, and I hashtag FYP everything. And think about this, Bob. You know what's fucking crazy? That tells me their algorithm's completely fucking broken. Every video that I post on TikTok gets FYP, right? And when I look at every video that I make, 95% of my views are because of FYP. So think about that. Like, how the fuck is it not, literally not working? Right? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, definitely not that I'm not here. Yeah. Well, you can imagine how the powers that be fucking hate my guts, right? I'm not a capitalist, right? I will not fold my politics for a dollar, right? A lot of people say I'll do what I got to do to survive, and I say be better. Be better. Do what lets you fucking sleep at night, you know? There's too many people out there that are shady as fuck for a buck. Yeah, you don't. I mean, think about it. If you aren't already friends with me and you and I haven't had a conversation before and you find out that I'm a fucking socialist. I don't identify as a Democrat or a liberal or a fucking Republican or a fucking none of that shit. I identify as a socialist. I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. I'm pro union, pro equality, right? I want to see if our future political leaders, I want to see them lead unions. So China is a socialist republic, correct? So I think what kind of government does China have? The government of the People's Republic of China is based on a system of People's Congress within the parameters of a unitary communist state. That was based on a Google search. So I just want to point that out. Nope. Definitely not socialist. And I would argue that socialism and communism are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. The reason fascists and communists get along so well is because they both love violence. So I am not a commie. Nope. I'm a socialist. I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. I believe in non-violent forms of protest, boycott, and strike. I believe in the democratic system that we have that has laws and regulations, things you can do, things you cannot. Because I don't want to live in the wild, wild west. I don't. I don't want to do that. I like my polite society, right? That's particularly troubling, Thea, because you're lying. Because I just Googled it. Anyway, what I had posted is a video of again why Bernie Sanders, for example, is not a socialist, right? So there's a video. You watch it. You, yeah, yeah. And again, that could be. So anybody else in the audience, there's 51 people here. Go to Google and ask Google what kind of government does China have, and then scroll down below the sponsor and the AI overview, okay, and go to like a definition, and it definitely says unitary communist controlled by the CCP. You're not helping the conversation when you're pushing something that is a lie. Bernie is independent. I thought he was a socialist. We're not a socialist when you're saying Israel has the right to defend itself and you're defending genocide. And I know why there are lots of people that are in political office that are not calling what is happening by the on the hand by the hand of the IDF upon the Palestinian people is because they're in fucking denial. Yeah. Yep. I think when you say something along the lines of Israel deserves to deserves the right to protect itself. Um, can't understand how rich. Yeah, rich people have been anti-union my whole life. When my mom worked for the postal service, they used to go around the post office and tell them not to join the postal union. Oh, you just pay money and nothing happens. Yeah, yeah. So if you know the difference between socialism and communism, the questions answer themselves, right, Dia? So I understand. I didn't block you. I just like I don't know how you I just did it. What kind of government does China have? And literally Wikipedia. Unitary communist state in which the ruling Chinese Communist Party enacts its policies through the people's congresses. There's nothing in there about socialism. Okay? See that? There it is. I mean, it's the first sentence. Unitary communist state. Okay? Bernie is Jewish too. I never hear him speak about protecting Israel like Chucky. So yeah, one of the things that I want to say about that video from Suppressed News talking about Bernie Sanders saying Israel, like, I hate to be like that, but the video shot and the sound of his voice, they don't match to me, and that makes me question their validity. But not because I can't believe that Bernie said that. I just want to make that point out. I'm not one of those people. Yeah. Yeah, you want to ask a more open-ended question because you live in the era of misinformation. So people will just straight up tell you those communist, socialist, Leninist, Marxist fucking, and you're just like, what? You're all over the political spectrum, just saying all the words you know and using that derogatorily about somebody because you got in a conversation that you can't see your way out of. Understand that the difference between a communist and a socialist is violence. Communists, if you look historically, communists have rose to power through violent coup, which is again one of the reasons why I made some content making fun of the fucking gun bros because they were talking about we're not going to let Donald Trump be president, and it was just like, where the fuck were you in your coup? Oh, it didn't happen because you're a bunch of bitches? Oh, no shit. Right? That's communism. That's an example of a failure of communism. Where's your community? Where I thought you all were going to keep them from being Oh, they didn't do a goddamn thing. See, told you. Why the fuck would you want to take up arms against a country that has drones? Are you dumb? The non-violent approach has a track record of working. Protest, boycott, and strike fucking works. Why would you do anything else? Think about your brain and how the older you get, the more you come to understand risk, the more you understand, oh, it's about protecting my fucking gut, my head. So when I tell you that we need socialized medicine, education, income, and housing, this isn't so that we can live scot-free. This is so we can continue to live. I just want to point that out. Elon Musk is over here trying to sell you Mars, and I'm here saying we need fucking universal healthcare, education, income, and housing in order to survive. I'll say it. As per usual, it's been over 90 minutes. You can tell that I enjoy being here because not only am I here every day, but we frequently run over. Okay. I've learned not to spend my time interacting negatively. No, I don't, Cece. I don't waste my time paying attention to those maggots. But yeah, I want you all to have a wonderful weekend, whether you decide to leave your house or not. Remember, tomorrow, Saturday, April 19th, uh, probably around midday, probably around your state capital or maybe closer, there will be the largest organized protest in U.S. history. And how do I know that? Because the ones on April 5th were. And 2 weeks later, within a 2 week period, this regime literally deported American citizens to prisons that were closed for violating human rights. It's that simple. You thought we were upset protesting on April 5th. Since April 5th, you deported American citizens. You deported 179 people that we are aware of without a criminal record. And Donald Trump has promised to deport homegrown, meaning American citizens. And one of his henchmen, Stephen Miller, has said they will go after the detractors. So if you thought 2 weeks ago's protest was big, hey man, that could be you. That could literally be you. And you, and you, and you. It could literally, you could just get picked up at any point. I look, every time I go by my front door, you know what I think about? Who is that keeping out, really? Sometimes I look at my little dogs and I think, who are they keeping out, really? Nobody. We're all paper mache. So remember that when someone tells you, like, the only path out of this is through violence. Remember that I fucking told you. We are all paper mache. Protest, boycott, and strike. Have a good rest of your day.